The girl fell hard onto the sun-heated pavement just as the late-morning traffic roared back to life, her thin body crumpling like it had finally run out of reasons to stay upright. Around her, horns blared and people shouted, but no one yet understood that only seconds earlier, she had dragged an elderly man out of the path of an oncoming truck. His life had been saved by hands that were trembling from hunger, exhaustion, and weeks of sleeping in doorways. The man lived. The girl collapsed, and when a biker knelt beside her and something slipped from her pocket onto the ground, a truth long buried was about to surface. Before the story pulls you deeper, take a second right now. If you believe kindness deserves a second chance, if you believe the smallest acts can change lives, please like this video, comment, share it, and subscribe to the channel Only Kindness. Your support keeps stories like this alive. The girl's name was Maribel Reyes, though almost no one in the city knew it. To most, she was just another homeless teenager haunting the edges of sidewalks in broad daylight, invisible in a crowd that had trained itself not to look too closely. She was 17, but life had carved lines into her face that made her look older. That morning sun exposed everything: the frayed sweater hanging off her shoulders, the sneakers with split soles, the bruise blooming along her forearm from a fall days earlier. Still, she had been alert enough to notice the old man stumble near the crosswalk, his cane slipping, his body tilting dangerously toward the street. While others hesitated, Maribel ran. She pushed him back just as a delivery truck thundered past, missing them by inches. The force of it knocked her down, and whatever strength she had left drained out onto the asphalt. The old man, Everett Cole, survived because of her. He was 73, proud, stubborn, and already struggling with a heart that didn't always keep rhythm with his will. His son, Ronan Cole, arrived moments later on a black motorcycle that still hummed with engine heat. Ronan was a biker known across the county, his leather vest marked with patches that told stories of roads, losses, and loyalties. To strangers, he looked intimidating. To his father, he was the only family left. Ronan jumped off his bike when he saw his father sitting on the curb, shaken but alive, and then his eyes fell on Maribel's unmoving body. The crowd parted just enough for Ronan to kneel beside her. In the harsh daylight, he saw how young she really was. Sweat and dust streaked her face, her breathing shallow, lips pale. As he checked for signs of consciousness, something slipped from her pocket and landed between them with a soft clatter. It was a small, worn photograph, creased from being folded too many times. Ronan picked it up without thinking, and his breath caught. The photo showed a little girl, maybe 4 years old, sitting on a man's shoulders at a fair. The man was younger, clean-shaven, smiling wide. Ronan recognized that smile immediately. It was his own. Confusion hit him harder than any punch he'd taken in his life. His fingers trembled as he stared at the image, then back at the girl on the ground. The age didn't line up, his mind insisted. It couldn't, and yet the girl's eyes, even closed, carried something achingly familiar. Paramedics arrived and loaded Maribel onto a stretcher. Ronan followed, the photo clenched tight in his fist, his father insisting he was fine, that the girl mattered more. At the hospital, daylight poured through tall windows, making everything feel exposed. Doctors confirmed Maribel was severely dehydrated, malnourished, and exhausted, her collapse the result of weeks of pushing herself beyond limits. As she lay unconscious, Ronan sat rigid in a plastic chair, staring at the photograph again and again. His memories clawed their way back. A summer years ago, a woman named Sophia who disappeared suddenly, a child he was told wasn't his, a choice to believe the lie because the alternative hurt too much. He had ridden away from that chapter of his life, never imagining it could come back in the form of a collapsed homeless girl. Maribel woke slowly as sunlight shifted across the room, the day still bright outside. Her first instinct was panic. Hospitals meant questions, paperwork, people who might send her back to places she'd learned to survive without. She tried to sit up, only to feel dizziness wash over her. That was when she noticed the biker sitting nearby, his massive frame somehow folded into the small chair, his eyes soft with something she couldn't name. She remembered the old man, the truck, the fall. Fear tightened her chest as she waited for anger or accusations. Instead, she saw gratitude. Everett Cole was alive because of her, and Ronan made sure she knew it. Food arrived soon after, warm and real, not scavenged or begged for. Maribel ate slowly, suspicious tears blurring her vision. Kindness felt unfamiliar, almost dangerous. Over the next hours, pieces of her life spilled out in fragments. She had been in foster care after her mother died suddenly. Records got lost, homes changed. Eventually, she aged out early, unofficially, slipping through cracks wide enough to swallow someone whole. She carried the photograph because it was the only proof that once, she had been wanted. She never said the name of the man in it. She didn't have to. Ronan listened as daylight faded into afternoon, the sun casting long shadows across the hospital floor. The weight of his absence pressed on him harder with every word. He had built a life on the road, a brotherhood that valued loyalty, but here was the consequence of one moment he chose not to fight harder. Maribel wasn't angry. That somehow hurt more. Change didn't come all at once. It crept in quietly, in daytime decisions that felt terrifying in their permanence. Ronan arranged for Maribel to stay in a safe shelter while she recovered. He visited daily, always in daylight, bringing books, meals, and awkward silence that slowly softened. Everett visited too, holding her hand, calling her his miracle without realizing how deep the truth went. Maribel started to smile again, small at first, like she wasn't sure she deserved it. As weeks passed, the city seemed different to her. Sidewalks no longer felt like traps. Mornings brought structure. Paperwork was filed. Her name existed on forms again. Ronan didn't try to erase the past. He acknowledged it, apologized for it, and then did something better. He stayed. He showed up every day, proving that second chances weren't loud gestures but steady ones. The day Maribel officially moved into a small, sunlit apartment arranged through a youth program Ronan funded quietly, she stood by the window, watching people move below, alive and busy in the middle of the day. She thought about how close she had come to disappearing entirely, and how one instinctive act of kindness had changed everything. Saving a stranger had saved her too. Ronan watched her from the doorway, knowing his life had shifted permanently. The road would always be there, but so would she. Not as a burden, not as a mistake, as family rediscovered, forged through loss and redemption. If this story is reaching you right now, if it's stirring something deep in your chest, please pause and engage with this video. Like it, share it, and let us know it mattered to you. Stories like this remind us why kindness still matters. Before the ending, we have one special request. Comment below and tell us where you're watching from. And whether you believe one good act can change a life. That afternoon sun continued to shine, indifferent yet witness to everything that had changed. Maribel stepped forward into a future that finally saw her, not as invisible, but as someone worth saving, someone who had always been brave enough to save others first.